Welcome to the Module 2 of Learning to Draw and Learning to Draw Well. This is Avon Waters, your host and host artist for this series of drawing. We're going to start out in the series, as I said in the first one, with the basics. The first module was on how to select the right pencils and how to figure out how to grade them. This, we're going to move on to techniques that you can use in pen and ink or pencil. For the illustrations here, we are going to do spacing exercises. For this, what you'll need to do is you will need to mark off your paper into various squares. This is just a 9 by 12 pad. So I've just marked it off into, I used a portion of a business card. Not all of it, just made a little rectangle, 6 of them, and I've illustrated 2 different methods of using pen and ink. This is just a ballpoint pen, and the goal of this exercise basically is to figure out how to space your lines equally apart. The goal is, now these are big squares for drawing. Typically we would use an instrument like this on a drawing, but for this exercise you're going to get a bunch of wavy lines. Don't use a ruler. A ruler will give you nice straight lines, but we're making this exercise so that later on when you start to do some drawing, these wavy lines will create some interest in areas as we use them. But the exercise forces you to try to start at the beginning and come down to the end and see how close you can come for equal spacing for your lines. Alright? Now do this slowly. And mark again, I used a 2B pencil, so mark again what pencil you're using, because you'll want to come back to this and do these exercises outside of the video when you're sitting in a doctor's office or something like that. Now here's the same exercise, but I didn't create spaces. This time I used my 2B pencil and I created rapid lines going across here and up and down, and you can see the spacing varies greatly. So as you practice these lines, it's good coordination for large areas. Now notice how when I went to just a small area and I did lines at an angle, vertical, crossways, then here's 2 layers. First down, then across. Here's 3 layers. Across, at an angle, and then I did another angle, just like this. So this is the 3rd layer I'm putting on here. So you can see how that changed to 3 layers. Now what this does when you're actually doing a drawing or an object is, here's 2 layers with the 2B pencil, here's 3 layers, here's 4 layers. Now notice the quality of the gray changes when you go from 2 layers to 3. You start to fill in a few more spaces. When you go from 3 layers to 4, you fill even more in. And if you were to squint your eyes, this becomes lighter than this, and this is lighter than this. So by layering, you're able to build up areas in your drawing, which we'll use in later assignments. So I decided, instead of this type of spacing, I decided let's put our lines closer together. And you can see that this 2 layers is darker than this 2 layers because my lines are closer together. I'm eliminating some of the white space. So you not only can create different shades by layering, but by how close you put your layers together. And that's why these exercises like this are important to do, because it will allow you, when you get ready to draw an object, to do some things either by spacing the lines closer together or further apart. And those will become important techniques later on. When we get to a shape, I've just kind of sketched out a square here. Then the layering, you can see if I have a light source that comes in here, and well, let's use the light source I've got here with this. The light's hitting the top of the cube more than it is the side, and this is away from the light source, so this would be my darkest side. Alright, that's my darkest side. This is my lightest side, and this is my side that is going to be getting a little bit of the light but not as much as the top. Alright, so if I don't put any layers here and I put one layer here and two or three here, then we start to see the impression of a three-dimensional form. And I'm going to do it rapidly, and I'm putting them fairly close together. And I'm not going to worry about staying in the lines. That's what we make erasers for. Alright. Now, of course, my little M is going to show up there. And because I went diagonal on one side and these two sides are going to go together, I am going to start vertically on this side. And then I'm going to go horizontal. And you squint at that and you start to see a little bit of a shade difference, but not a whole lot. So I'm going to put a third layer on here. Now normally I would, if I was sketching this, I would go a little bit more, turn my paper and everything, but I don't want to do that here because it's easier for me to turn the paper and get more even spacing than it is to go at different angles. Now if you squint your eyes, and the video will probably do it for you because it's not very sharp after you download these things, but now if you squint your eyes, you'll see that we have a light area, we have a medium area, and we have a dark area. Okay? So you can play around here once you get it. Like I said, they make erasers. You can play around here, and some of the places I missed, you put in some more sketching. It adds some variation. So you could clean this up quite a bit with just a few more strokes, and I won't take a lot of time to do that. But ultimately, when you're actually drawing something that you want to keep or use or maybe give to friends, that's something that you can consider. And then the eraser would clean up the edges, and there we go. That's how we're going to use these exercises in future videos. I want to keep them short. I want to keep them somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. And you can then go out and practice on your own, sitting, waiting, doodling in the margins of a magazine or a notebook you carry with you. Just get the practice in. The practice is what you need to get used to the tools, so that when we start drawing objects, I know you want to go right. I want to draw a house. I want to draw a barn. I want to learn to draw trees. I want to learn to draw people. I know you want to do that right now. But it takes, you have to learn to crawl before you walk. You have to learn to stand up before you crawl. And that's what these exercises will do. So until next time, keep practicing, and we'll turn the page and do something else next time.